Hey everyone, happy Tuesday and welcome to another episode of Day in Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So I pretty much worked on this thing all day with a couple small exceptions, and Rafa yet again pretty much worked on the 54 Barndoor all day actually. No exceptions there. He was on this puppy all day. So many things to do here. This bus has a lot of room for improving little details on it. So one thing was, went ahead and pulled the rear spring plates, and it's a good thing because the bushings were just really wore out. So that's all going to be replaced and renewed, because they can have some handling issues when those are wore out and track funny and stuff like that. So might as well put in new bushings. So yeah, luckily we pulled that off and found out they were wore out. It's funny that whoever restored this bus before didn't seem to replace those. That's like a pretty basic thing to at least check. But anyway, so yeah, those are getting replaced. So he did that, and then we took his gas tank, which had a dent in it, and we took care of the dent. We had our body and metal guy. Actually, we put a hole in the tank, like in the side opposite of anything that you would see. And then we took a long rod and pretty much pounded the dent out from the inside out. And then I took the tank over to Washburn's Metal, and they'll TIG weld close the tank, and you'll never know it was there. And then we're going to take it off to Tom's Radiator Service down by Old Town Orange, and they'll work their magic on it, boil it out, put a high quality coating on the inside, and then we'll paint the tank, and it'll be every bit as good as new. So those things happened today on this. I think what Rafa spent most of his time doing on it was putting back together the tail lights. So look at that puppy. I don't know if you can really appreciate how nice these look on video. But we had the bezels re-chromed, and we had those guys do some body work on them. Both of these bezels had a dent in about this area here that we worked out to the best of our ability before taking them off to chrome, and then we pointed out to the chrome shop, hey, if you can fix these even better. And they did it. I mean, you can't even tell there were any dents on these now up in this area here. I can't remember. It was either on this side or this side. And both taillights had a dent in almost the same spot, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so Rafa reassembled these, polished up the lenses, and then these are custom-made bulb holders, which turn these into dual filaments, because again, we're going to add it already has some O4s. We're going to add flashing taillights to this thing. So needs a dual filament bulb. Normally they're just single filament. Normally these lights only serve as running lights, but now they're going to be running lights and turn indicators. So yeah, lots of time putting these things together. They're very delicate, and they're not really even made to take apart. So you got to be really careful, kind of prying this lip here on the chrome bezel open, and then when you put it back together, kind of re-crimping it closed. So it's like brain surgery. I mean, this is pretty delicate stuff here. So very time consuming, and yeah, came out great. These are going to look killer on there. So we did those, and then the bus had a late model backup light housing for the brake light. And somebody had added the original, or actually for the license plate, well, yeah, for the brake light. And then for the license plate light, somebody had taken an original license plate light bulb holder and kind of grafted it on to the backup light, which they were using as the reverse light, if I got all that right. And anyway, so we sourced a more appropriate looking, at least, backup light housing. It's like screw terminal. It's made out of sheet metal. So it looks much more correct than a later one, which they're like pop metal or something like that. And then Rafa transferred this bulb holder here to it. And so now it looks, it's somebody who didn't know what they were looking at would probably think this is a Barndoor, or at least a very early brake light and license plate light. So looks much better and much closer to what it should look than what was on there. So, you know, little details like that. So yeah, a lot of time today on these rear lights for this thing. So, and they came out incredible. So there you go. That was Rafa's day. So me and Jacob, when he came in later in the day, we worked on this guy here. So started off the day on the back of the car. And with these cars, it's just kind of easiest to do the rear suspension when the fenders are off. So before we put the fenders on for good, I went ahead and assembled the spring plates and torsion bars and their covers and bushings and everything on here. Set the spring plates back to the angle that I measured them at when the car came in, which was 20 degrees preload. So set both sides dead on 20 degrees. And yeah, pretty much put them all back together. And then went ahead also before the fenders went on, just because it's kind of easier to work with, and put on the Z-bar, which for those of you that don't know, these were used on at least 67 and 68. I don't know if these were also used on some IRS cars. That's where my knowledge starts kind of dropping off here on the later cars. But on earlier cars, 67 and 68 had this thing. And it's kind of like the opposite of a sway bar. It actually reduces rear roll stiffness, because swing axle Beetles do tend to be a bit tail happy, meaning that the back end can come around unexpectedly for drivers who get in an emergency situation and don't know how to handle the car. So the Z-bar kind of helps with that. So again, it's kind of the opposite of a sway bar. It actually decreases roll stiffness at the back of the car and makes it safer in a way. So anyway, that's all powder coated, new bushings, all that good stuff, and installed that. And then we went ahead and put the fenders on with their beautiful ruby red beading from Wolfsburg West, and did the same up front. Put the fenders on with the beading and all the bolts. The fender bolt kits from Wolfsburg West are really nice. We use those on nearly everything. And the fender beading, we don't really like. Sorry, Wolfsburg West. We don't really like their black Beetle fender beading recently. It's been very brittle, but the colored stuff seems fine and it looks great. The color is like pretty much dead on. So yeah, front fenders went on, and then we went ahead and installed the front tie rods, the pitman arm, a few other little things like that. Let's see, what else did we do on this thing today? Tiny bit of wiring in the back. Got the tail light wire or harnesses pretty much ready to go. I've ordered the seals, the tail light to body and front turn indicator to body seals. So I'll probably go ahead and put those indicators on tomorrow and get them all wired up. And yeah, so this thing is coming along pretty fast here. I may go ahead and put the front spindles and stuff on tomorrow, and so I can put the front of this thing on the ground on some donor or some roller wheels and tires that we have around here. The setup that we have on here now with the dolly, it's a little unstable and it makes me kind of nervous. So I'll feel much better when the front is actually sitting on wheels and much more stable. Even if the back is on a dolly, it's fine because the front will stabilize it. So yeah, I may go ahead and try and get the front of this thing on the ground tomorrow, and then probably continue on wiring it. Incidentally, I should mention that those of you that are regulars around here probably noticed that this Beetle is sitting in the spot normally occupied by the beautiful green 68 double cab pickup. And it's next door at Octavio's, and they're going to do its headliner and carpet and install all the interior panels. So that one will probably be gone for, I would guess, the rest of this week. I'm not sure. I need to talk to them about their time frame and make sure they're going to do it in an expeditious fashion. We need to get that thing back and get it together, get it to its owner. But yeah, in the meantime, this is actually a great spot for this Beetle. So it's going to live in this spot here at least until the double cab comes back. Other car-wise, nothing much going on with these guys. We did take this one for what should be a final test drive today. Everything's great. We took it around my what I call my big loop around Orange, which is about 7 miles. Car did great. And yeah, so I think this one's pretty much ready to go. So need to go ahead and start having that conversation with the owner here. What else? I think that is it, guys. So thank you everyone for watching, and I guess we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.